Welcome to the Mental Margarita Show. We're visiting with Shirley Blackwell, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, Back in Touch Massage, helping you get back in touch with yourself and feeling good. How are you today?
I'm really good and happy to be here with you, Rebecca.
And we're happy. We're telling your story. We're talking about this wonderful healing work that you do, and we all need healing in some way. We want people to be well and to enjoy. And this is part of a travel series. We want people to visit Coeur d'Alene and come and experience the beauty of northwestern Idaho and all of the wonderful things to experience there. But while they're visiting, they need to come and see you, Shirley.
It's a wonderful
to
idea.
find some relief, pain relief, relaxation, rejuvenation. So originally you hail from Southern California, is that right?
That's right. Beach girl. Very
Beach
much
girl.
so.
Tell us a little bit about growing up and what led you to the Northwest.
Well, growing up, I was kind of a little bit of an insecure girl because I was in kind of a little bit of an ugly duckling, I guess you would say. And I wasn't real confident in my capabilities until later in life, when I started discovering, that I was actually fairly good at playing volleyball. As a matter of fact, I started taking classes that were, your basic education. But I was drawn to phys ed because I wasn't sure, except for the fact that I had discovered that I had my confidence in myself by playing beach volleyball. There was a fellow that saw me sitting on the sidelines watching the volleyball players play. And I just like, oh, that's so cool. But I was just sitting on the sidelines. And then this one fellow, who I don't remember what his name was, but he changed my life right there, then and there. He said, he came over to me, he goes, I see you sitting over here on the sidelines, and do you want to play? And I go, well, I don't really know how to play that well, just a little bit. He said, come over here. And he took me off to the side in the sand, and we started doing these bumps and sets and stuff. And he goes, you've got this. You could do this. You got good hands. And it does take finesse with volleyball, to be able to do those things. So I went from being a PE major to a recreation major because I did love the anatomy, but when it got to the sciences, I was a little slow on it. But I went into recreation administration, and I went on down to San Diego State with a bunch of friends that were PE majors and teaching majors. And we still played volleyball together and things like that. So that kept that going. And then I met my husband around that time. And here's where I decided to, when we first were married and we were living in San Diego, and I had a baby boy 41 years ago, my son Drew, and I was staying at home doing daycare, but I was getting kind of crazy doing that. I wanted to be more out doing things again. And I had experience doing recreation. I was director of teenagers and stuff. So I was very active with kids and doing planning programs and whatnot. But back this way, one of the gals that was taking care of her little kid, she was a hairdresser, and she said, well, I know that you're getting kind of burnt out on this. I understand. Have you ever thought of going into manicuring? And I went, ew, no, I don't know about that. Me? Beauty salon? No. So I started doing that. And it was really cool because it was a very one-on-one personal thing and hands-on and very personal. Well, I had client after client say, you really have a touch. It's amazing. I can feel your healing energy. And I go, well, I said, what? And so I kept hearing that. And I was thinking, several actually said, have you ever thought of going into massage? And I go, no, that's kind of weird. So then I decided it was really a cool thing to be able to work at 2 salons. I was at a really cool salon in the East County of San Diego. And then I thought, I'm going to look in the paper too. And I saw the Hotel Del Coronado was advertising for a manicurist.
Oh,
it's a 100-year-old hotel. It's world famous. It's phenomenal, beautiful, in Coronado on the ocean. And it's got history that is phenomenal. The who's who of who has, you know,
Some like it,
royalty.
some like it hot. Marilyn Monroe was there filming
That's right.
movies.
And
So
all kinds of royalty and politicals and actresses and actors and movies made there. And so I was working, I got that job. Right next door was a spa. And I used to go over there and just have a chit chat with the massage therapist. And one day I got to talk to the head masseur, the manager of the spa. And I was telling him about, you know, people have been telling me, have you ever thought of going to massage? And he goes, well, have you? And I went, well, you know, now that I'm looking at the spa and not thinking about, well, other places, because it's a Navy town, you get my drift.
mhm.
And I'm at a professional spa. And he says, well, there's 2 schools in town. Why don't you go check them out? And I said, well, okay. So I did. And oh man, I was really impressed by both of them. But one was the most impressive to me, and it was Mueller College of Holistic Studies. And here I could see it, you know, wow, I can blend recreation, I can blend my manicuring and my phys ed right here by being, and the way I was raised back in Laguna Beach by my auntie, who was very nurturing and loving. And so I was taking my classes and really, really, and just obvious, this is it. This is it. I'm resonating. This is me. And Richard Close, great name for a masseur, he was hired by the owner of the hotel out of Caesar's Palace. And I point that way north, even though I'm in North Idaho, because I still think of that as north. Anyway, I said he wanted to know how I was doing. Did I like it? Was I enjoying it? I go, oh, yeah, I love it. He goes, well, guess what? I go, what? He goes, well, our lead massage therapists, they have the men's and the women's spa, and there's only 2 tables and 2 massage therapists, and the men's same thing. He said, she's got to go in for carpal tunnel surgery. And I went, ooh, is that my future? Thanks. Well, I'm going to be hiring. And I went, oh, wow, cool. And I go, well, he says, would you like to come in and interview? And I go, well, but I'm not done with school yet. And he goes, that's okay. I really want to see how you're doing. I go, okay. I just thought that'll be a great opportunity, right? So I come in and I know that he's been interviewing women that are licensed massage therapists and train, you know, got all their credentials and that everything. This is 1987, so it was a different world back then in regards to what you had to have in your line of credentials per se, I guess. But so each gal was having to give him like just a demonstration, like a half hour. He did get on the table, and you know, it's just real kind of basic, and I knew my basics by that time. And he said, after I was done and we came out, and he said, well, you have the job.
So here, so early in your career, right from the beginning, you knew this was a calling, and that this was something you were meant to do. You know, you not that long ago, you discovered your natural born father, which is there's a lot of people that experience this in many different ways. You also discovered that he was in the healing arts as well. So we have had other people that have do healing work on the show, and it finds that this is a multi-generational thing. It's not something that's by accident. It's something you're born into, I believe. Tell us a little bit about that lineage.
Yeah. Well, I have a friend who is also a massage therapist that was working in a clinic that I helped establish, that was east of us a little bit, where I'm located here in Coeur d'Alene. It was called the 3rd Street Healing Arts Center. And she had just joined the group. I'd been there pretty well established for a while. And I find out that she does genealogy. And she's really passionate about doing genealogy. And I was telling her that little bit of a story about how my aunties, there was 3 sisters. My mother was the eldest, and then there was Aunt Jane and Aunt Virginia. And they told me when I was about 18 or 19, it wasn't when I was really young, because they didn't want to, you know, kind of rock my boat. But they said, you know, we pretty sure that the gentleman that is truly your father is not the man that your mama said. And there was reasons, various different interesting reasons, but we don't need to go into that. And they said they met him one time. So that's where she went to Laguna for a little while and was with my Aunt Virginia, and then she went out to Palm Springs. And my Aunt Jane was going to have a get together to help her feel good about her reestablishing her life. And so she said, I'm inviting Virginia out from Laguna, and we want to have a get together and just, give you some confidence in your new chosen life and everything. And my Aunt Jane said to her, why don't you bring your new friend? And so her new friend came with her, and my auntie said, and I think they actually got married personally, looking at a lot of different things. Anyway, they said he was really tall, very handsome, broad-shouldered, narrow-waisted, and he said he was some kind of a physical therapist or a physiatrist, and that he was also of Jewish descent, by his name, his looks, and all kinds of things of that nature. Well, so I told Chris, my friend, who's the massage therapist, also does genealogy a lot. She's really into it. She's semi-professional, really, at it. And it inspires her to look into these stories. And so she did. She started digging. And my son, Drew, had gotten me a Me in 23 a few months back, and I kept putting it off, and I finally did it. So now she had that to put together with everything that she had in my story. And it really, in a way, wasn't that tough, because she went to the 1953 Yellow Pages and went through, physical therapists. And I have on my wall what was in the Yellow Pages of 1953 and 1954, along with my plaques, And she said he must have just kind of taken a picture of him or something and used those as his advertisement in the Yellow Pages. And there it was. And the gene pool that she was seeing me, the lineage, go to, Russian, Ashkenazi, and Lakovsky. And it turns out that that is absolutely the person, through all the different avenues that she went. And she called me up one day, and she said, Shirley, I found your father. You open up the Wikipedia, and there's this really handsome boxer guy sitting in the corner of a boxing ring. He was a world famous heavyweight boxer for the time, and there's even been a movie basically about him, Cinderella Man.
Wow.
Yeah, that whole thing, James Braddock in the fight, and James Braddock had to get to Artlasky. But yes, the whole time that he was boxing, he was studying. This is really impressive. I mean, there's a lot of impressive things. In this era, this was the 30s, Depression era, early 30s, where he first started. So how do you be a world famous heavyweight boxer, never went down? His record, if you look it up, it was only a decision if he lost, and he won everything. But then, he was getting beat up too much. And so he was studying to become a physical therapist the whole time. So you must have had to do homeschooling or something, and then go to classes every once in a while and do hands-on. He was really, when I look at his plaques, he was way ahead of his time. He was really into like electro energy and sound therapy and color therapy, and he had massage therapists working for him. He was healing people that were in wheelchairs in his waiting room. My half brother, did an interview with her, and she was 93 years old, and she's trying to remember all this stuff. But she said, your father had healing hands. And you know what he did? And it's something I do. He closed his eyes when he was doing his work. And she said, they called your father the man with the x-ray fingers, because he closed his eyes. His eyes were so damaged, he couldn't see very well. He had special glasses and surgeries and stuff. You can even see that on the line about how he had to have all these surgeries. So he closed his eyes, and it helped him be able to, I call it feel see. And Back to the Future, that's what I do when I am able.
And that's just something that just came to you to do, right? It just seemed natural.
Yeah, but for what it is that I have learned in the last 10 11 years this spontaneous muscle release technique, advanced myofascial, um, advanced myofascial neuromuscular positional release. Oh my gosh, he would have been all over it. And there's very few people doing this work like this, you know. So how I got led to that was amazing.
Can you explain briefly for us how it's different and in many
Yes.
ways so much better than
Yeah.
just the surface that gets handled with a regular massage or traditional
Yeah.
rather. This
Yeah.
is very specialized and
Yeah.
it goes far deeper and
It,
does so much
it
more.
does. Yeah. And the beautiful thing is that how I've been able to blend it all together to make it my own. My art form. I call it the heart of the art of massage, and his name is Art Lasky. It's like I would love to teach. I really would. And he wanted to teach too. Blind veterans from World War II was in his newspaper article, and I think he did. I would love to teach because that is the secret right there, is closing your eyes. But anyway, how you blend the training that I had, absolutely, but then the years of experience, and then the way I was raised by my loving auntie. She was very nurturing. She gave me scalp massages and ear massages, and I was her little precious treasure. She called me Presh for short. So she's always with me in my heart, and I feel spiritually, and perhaps Art Lasky, I don't know. But it's not just about science. It's not just about the science of the technique and all of that. And the gal that taught it, I bless her heart, she's genius, and she's the only one. Don Lewis, I got to give her credit. Don Lewis of Spontaneous Muscle Release Technique, SMRT. She's absolutely brilliant, and she's the only one in the nation that I know of or heard of that teaches this method. And fascia, which has really become very recognized, fascia or connective tissue is a huge thing nowadays. There's a lot of compression boots. And of course, we've known about compression socks and lymphatic drainage and how important that is, because, you know, the only pump, this is really important to learn, everybody, the only pump for our lymphatic system is our muscles. Let that sink in, so to speak. I mean, really, the only pump for the lymphatic system that cleans toxins out of our system is our muscles. So it's a wonder that anybody's doing well at all if most of us are stressed out, tense, doing repetitive use all the time, and our lymphatic systems are compromised big time, right? So it really is extremely important. Massage therapists have a key role in the community of health and healing at all levels. And we should be recognized more. And if there's more massage therapists that learn how to work with the connective tissue, that on a physiological level is like a wrapping, if you will, or netting that surrounds every cell in our body, every organ, every muscle, tendon, ligament, and bones, everything. And yet, for thousands of years, not just a little while, all the years up until about 20 years ago, and even beyond that, and they're still dissecting it out. They see it as just a wrapping, an encasement, you know, like a sausage wrapper or something, you know, that is holding all these things together. And there's different kinds. There's very microscopic and there's very large connective tissue, different forms. But it's basically, at its simplest form, microscopically looks like a netting, but it's kind of gelatinous. I talk to people that have been are hunters or who've done butchering and things like that. But they know what it is. When you see it fresh, it's very gelatinous like. But they know microscopically it's very netting like. But it's also embedded with nerves, and that's it. It's like that. And fascia, they talk about it, loves heat. Well, guess who does hot stone massage? And I learned it years ago from a gal that learned it, the original teacher of that. And I started collecting stones, lava basalt stones on the seashore in San Diego. And they're these beautiful, smooth stones. I didn't take any class. I just started, learning what she taught me and soothing the body, like I call it, liquid heat, melting down through the muscles. And sure enough, to me, it's like I call it slow cooking and marinating beef jerky because it's slow. And that's the thing. I do sessions that are minimum 70 minutes, and I do usually at least 90 to 2 and sometimes even 3. And it goes by boom, just like that. It's like you're in another world or dimension. When you allow your body to be able to really relax and just go, I don't care what time it is. Money is really not important. It's important to me as doing this work. So I call it gourmet massage and body work because I put it all together. I first pre-assess. This is the sciencey part, along with the nurturing stuff. Like any art form, you have to know how to paint a picture and all the angles and dimensions and everything, or a musician, all the details. And you're a musician yourself, all the things that you have to do to come out with, and isn't that beautiful? Well, yeah, but what did it take to get there to be able to do, or gourmet meal, what did it take? Or to paint a picture, well, that's a photograph, or a photographer, all the technical stuff. You're going, oh my God, I could never do that. Well, people go, how do you do that? I go, well, I almost don't know sometimes. And I just get out of my way and let the body be the boss. I say that in my thing, the body is the boss. And that makes it so much easier. So much easier. And I'm 70 years old. I've been in practice for 37 plus years, and most massage therapists
and
only
that's
last.
amazing for the audience that's watching. A massage therapist's career is usually 10, 12 years max, usually, because you put so much wear and tear on the body. And this technique, the special technique that you have learned and has become your trademark, has extended your career years beyond that. And this is why people need to go to a professional too, because Shirley brings all these years of experience and techniques and things that she's learned over the years to fine tune that to every person she treats.
Yeah.
So anyone that comes to see you, they're going to get this buffet and be able to choose the items that will serve them best.
I wouldn't have been able to believe that it worked because it didn't make sense to me. It was too, finite, and the way it was explained, too much sciencey stuff, which is great, and technique, a lot of technique, but it was like, here's how you do it. That's why I can't really show how to do it. You have to be on this table to experience it. It was my husband who was a professional pit pitcher. He was always very, very athletic. He loves golf. I got invited to a client to come ride their horses up in Trout Creek, Montana. And Dave knows horses. He rode a lot on his aunt's ranch in North San Diego. And so he really knew horses, but he didn't like the way the saddle was tied up or cinched up, and so he let it be looser than he would have to ride the second ride during the day. Anyway, well, he didn't try to cinch it up sneakily. He just went ahead and rode it the way it was, but he galloped the horse, and the saddle was coming loose. He shouldn't have galloped the horse yet, and it started going this way. And there was palings coming and the ground was coming, and he knew he had to bail off that horse, full speed gallop, in front of our family and all the guests. And that was 213. I took this class at 214. So he was, banged up pretty bad still. So I'm snuggling next to this beautiful, still muscular arm of his who used to pitch 90 mile an hour, right? Anyway, so I'm snuggling in bed, he likes that, to that arm, and I'm closing my eyes, and he's okay, easy. I go, okay. And so I'm doing this work that's very finite, and it's a positional release. You are literally finding where there's tension. You feel the tension, you feel the skeletal structure So you're seeing it all. It's a liquid matrix. So it's the bones, the tendons, the ligaments, everything, and these little nerves. And so he falls sound asleep. He's even snoring. So I keep going, and I'm going, wow, I do feel these shifts that she talked about, these techniques and working with the nerves and the muscles and feeling things soften up. And the hydration comes into all this soft tissue that gets like beef jerky. No hydration gets through beef jerky. So here I go, and I'm going, oh my gosh, this is working. And, I'm closing my eyes and relax and snuggle. And I'm going, I can. And then after probably 2 hours, my husband starts, what? He goes, oh, honey, how long have you been working on my arm? What did you do to my arm? And I go, are you okay? And he goes, yeah. And he gets up and he goes, I have no pain. He kept going around the house. He's going,
Wow.
I have no pain. I'm going, you have no pain? How can you not have no pain? That's not proper English. But it was true. At that time, and it lasted for a while, and he could move and he could, go up and down fairly well, a little bit, not totally, because it's still, it's jammed up. But he asks me every day, could you work on my shoulders? And that was back, 10, almost now 11 years ago.
Here's one of dozens of incredible reviews from highly satisfied clients. Shirley is incredible. I've been having body work done for many years across many states, and I've never had anyone talk to me so in depth about my muscles and skeletal structure. She implemented a technique that I had never heard of, and after 2.5 hours on the table, I think I left there half an inch taller. Definitely recommend, and I will be seeing her again the next time I'm in Coeur d'Alene.
Starstruck, here's a sprinkle of the stardust. Hold your champagne glass and your cigars up. See the guys with mob ties drive the cars up. Bright lights, most nights they buy the bars up. Candy coated Chevy cars on the highway. It's Frankie baby, it's on and this is my way. Dean Martin at the Sands this Friday. With Sammy Davis, here's a little hint where I stay. The city shines like Liberace's mansion, and Elvis had the whole city dancing. Showgirl silhouette steady prancing. Shout out to June, just the Copa Girls anthem. Legal gambling.